My wife brought her secretary home one Friday evening, looking unusually confident, her voice dripping with control as she said, "He's moving in. If you don't like it, there's the door." For a moment, I just stood there, frozen, unable to comprehend the audacity of what I had just heard. My name is Michael, and for the past 10 years, I've been married to Rebecca, a corporate executive whose ambition was as sharp as her tongue. We had built a life together from nothing, shared dreams, and promises that now felt like ashes in my hands. The man beside her, Ethan, her secretary, stood awkwardly, clutching a small duffel bag, avoiding my eyes. My first instinct was rage, but I caught myself. I had learned long ago that anger was a weapon best used sparingly. So instead, I simply nodded. "If that's what you want, Rebecca," I said calmly, "then that's what you'll have." She blinked, expecting an argument, a scene, maybe even tears. But I gave her nothing. Her face twisted slightly in irritation as I walked past her and went upstairs. I could hear her whisper to Ethan, "Don't mind him. He'll calm down." But I wasn't angry. I was done. That night, while they set up the guest room, I quietly packed a bag and took one final look at the home I had worked so hard to provide. The mortgage, the furniture, even the renovation she bragged about at work parties, all funded by me. Yet here I was, being replaced by the man who fetched her coffee. I didn't argue. I didn't shout. I just left. For the next few months, I stayed silent, focusing on myself. What Rebecca didn't know was that before she had met me, I had already inherited shares from my late father's company, a company that had recently merged with her firm's parent corporation. I had never mentioned it, because I didn't care for power games. But fate, it seemed, had decided to give me a front row seat to irony. 6 months later, I was invited to a private board meeting. The company had acquired her division, and due to my ownership stake, I was to become interim chairman. When Rebecca walked into that meeting room, her confidence evaporated. She froze mid-step, her eyes locking with mine as realization spread across her face. "Michael, what are you doing here?" she stammered. I smiled faintly. "I think the question is, Rebecca, what are you doing here? This is a meeting for senior executives and shareholders only." She looked pale. "You're a shareholder?" she whispered. I leaned back in my chair, the same calm tone I had used that night returning. More than that, Ethan, sitting beside her nervously, fidgeted as the other executives began to discuss the merger details. She was no longer in charge. Her title, her influence, all of it had just slipped through her fingers. At the end of the meeting, I stood and addressed the board. Moving forward, I said, "I expect transparency, loyalty, and respect from everyone here. Personal or professional betrayal won't be tolerated." My words weren't directed at anyone by name, but everyone knew exactly who I meant. Rebecca sat silent, eyes glistening. Afterward, as the others left, she approached me quietly. "Michael, I made a mistake." I looked at her for a long moment, feeling the weight of years between us. "You didn't make a mistake, Rebecca," I said softly. "You made a choice, and so did I." With that, I turned and walked out of the building, leaving her standing there, once powerful, now powerless, realizing too late that she had traded loyalty for lust and stability for ego. Months later, I heard she resigned, and Ethan had left her soon after. I didn't celebrate. There was no need. Life had a way of restoring balance without cruelty. Sometimes silence, patient, and calm are the loudest forms of revenge. I never looked back, because the truth was simple. She had invited someone into my home and told me to leave, but in the end, she was the one left standing outside, looking in.